Greetings and salutations. Hello, Salem. How's it going? We're drawing cats again. That's just what's happening. Dale made this face at me as I was making dinner tonight from his cat tree, and like I'm uh trying to discern the emotion with which he was looking at me. Like it was kind of like contempt, but I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I'm all right. A long, boring day at work. I've been binge watching uh, a show called The Bear, which I think had its moment like a couple years ago. So I'm kind of late getting on it, but I have been enjoying it. Yeah, the restaurant show. And honestly, it's mostly the just the like the fantasy of the restaurant that I think that's doing it for me. Yeah, I think it's good. I think sometimes it's a hard watch because it's all like uh here are people dealing with, their mental illnesses basically in this like really high pressure environment. And it's like here's all this like abuse and stuff. And like hear all these people arguing. Yeah, I don't know how. I'd be curious to talk to someone who works in the industry and is able to shed some light on how true to life some of the depictions are, or if it's like a whiplash situation where it's like grossly exaggerated for dramatic effect. Oh, I say as someone who used to work in the. Oh, okay. Well, well, there you go. Can't decide how I want to. I believe it. I definitely believe it. Did you like working in food service? Were you a cook? If you don't mind me asking, just because I'm curious. as a prep cook and banquet server. So prep cook being like you do some of the initial like cutting, peeling, that sort of thing. Has moments when it was really fun and the big events were really stressful, but also some of the most fun events to work. Yeah, I can see it being like a multifaceted thing. And, you know, I can see how like the energy um like there'd be a lot of like adrenaline and stuff associated with it, right? Which is like that can be thrilling. Oh, cool. Is baking stressful or is like cuz I kind of like the idea of like the morning prep thing. It's always appealed to me to like getting a chunk of work done in the morning, early in the morning before anyone else is like up. But baking, I understand, is like crazy early hours. Banquet serving is just a lot of running, but more customer facing. So it had, yeah, I can understand that. Customer service and all that. I definitely had my moments at Starbucks when it was it was busy, but you got into like a flow, into like a flow state, and you're just trying to weather the storm. Yeah, I did like that about working at Starbucks. Morning stuff would be fun, but I understand everything had to be out by a certain time, so you had to have everything down to a science in the kitchen. Yeah, that's where I see the like that would be like pretty stressful to manage. And everyone knows what they're doing, where to go. You could work around each other. This weird sort of yeah. The when you get in sync with everyone, yeah, yeah. I feel like I had like maybe like a microcosm of that at Starbucks because it's a it's a small team you're working with. Maybe three or four other baristas. Yeah, yeah. And then you just have that like shared trauma with the rest of your team. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Ugh. Trying to see how much I can work like zoomed out. So I find that I zoom in too much and then I kind of get lost in the details. And I lose sense of like the picture as a whole. Like walking out of a war zone, yeah. Wait, what is that? That was like the party rock anthem I started. Hi, I set my sights on you. And I'm away now, baby. Purple pig pep. Big butt. Always count on the captions for providing some form of entertainment. Feel like for a circle, I gotta get in there with my whole arm, and so I do need to be zoomed in for that. Because if I'm zoomed out, then chances are I'm gonna do it with my wrist, and it's just not gonna happen if it's with my wrist. Oh, there we go. That's a pretty good one. So I don't mean to do the jump scare. uh, the zoom tool is just a little punchy. But yeah, the bear is very much like about the characters, kind of telling each of their stories. Um, but it's a lot of um, it's a lot of arguments, with characters like talking over each other, and sometimes it gets a bit much for me. There's only like so much of that I can take, but like thank God for captions because I would not be able to follow those scenes if there were not captions. There's just too many people talking over each other. Kitchens are loud as heck. They really dramatize like calling out orders and stuff, and it seems uh, very hectic. And like I don't know how you would be able to absorb that information at that pace, but maybe that is just how it is. See, I would be interested to hear the perspective of someone who has been in that environment. Lots of people yelling over each other. Still to this day, will say behind hot, behind knife, and then behind somewhere say heard when someone calls. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that in the show. There's a lot of that. So that all tracks. Which, like, I can understand why you just start like incorporating that into other aspects of life because it's just helpful to be like, I'm behind you right now. I'm not going to startle you because you might be holding something hot as well. Oh dear. I think we might need to do better with this eye. Oh god, yeah, I can imagine. You know, I could probably just use some sort of like symmetry tool in like another program maybe. But no, I like to suffer, I guess. Yeah, you can really tell how not round. It was an open kitchen too. Oh, wow. Like through windows, or was it was just like totally open? Desire to suffer in some fashion is in all of us. Yes, it is true. Entry into kitchen where the line and the soup station was open. Basically large doors, but no doors. Oh. Hmm. And it was like very noticeable, like you felt like you were more on display. And you obviously had to censor yourself a lot more if you knew you were like in earshot of customers. See, this is where I think I've zoomed in too much. I should try and ink this from out here. Maybe I should rotate it so that I'm pulling down instead of across. Oh, I see. So yeah, you weren't in like full view. You didn't have to be like smiling all the time. I have heard this about uh, kitchen staff and cussing. When I uh, when I worked at Starbucks, it was a Starbucks with a drive-through, and so we all, if you were working the drive-through, and it would be like you'd have two people work like specifically working the drive-through with headsets, and then one person who would do both like the cafe and the drive-through, and they would also have a headset. And yeah, I think these ears need to be bigger because I think we're kind of doing an exaggerated drawing here. And I never really got. I wasn't good at like striking the balance because like there would be like jokes and raunchy conversation going on in the headsets. Um, but like you'd also be like you'd be serving customers, and I never really got good at like making that switch in the moment. Like listening to someone tell like an extremely dirty joke as I'm handing people their change, and it's just like in your one ear. But then also like listening and paying attention to like the next order that's happening down the line. I'd have man, I'm sure I've talked about it before on here, but I'd have work nightmares about trying to keep track of like three different orders coming in at the same time. Love the job and some of the team members. Yeah, well, that can have a yeah that'll make a big difference. Yeah, it's a skill that I never really developed, but that's fine. I was also like one of the older people on staff, and I was like mid 20s. Actually, now that I think about it, it's like, man, I felt really old, but I was probably only like 25. Primarily bar side. Yeah. Yeah, especially if you're just like, you're doing order after order, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's weird to think of like, yeah, I was one of the older people and I felt really old, but maybe that was because I was like at a point in my life where I was like I don't feel the best about working at Starbucks. Like this is I had like just dropped out of university, so it was not feeling like a high point in my career. But I honestly miss it sometimes. And like I drew a lot in that time. How are we looking here? That's a, a pretty good little gremlin drawing, probably. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what it was all about, leaving it at work. That was really important. And so then you actually had like energy to put into other things, even though it was exhausting in its own way. How's this gonna look? May look okay. Here, let's do this. Mm. Yeah, I don't know how I would have gotten on if I'd stayed longer, because yeah, I was only there for about a year as well. And we had a decently organized manager. This one customer who's like this older man, very kind of sweet and understated, and his drink, he would come in every morning and he would just get a grande decaf americano, which like is the easiest drink to make, but he was always so appreciative. And I'm like, I don't know what to say. Like, I actively cannot do anything to make this drink better for you. It just is what it is. I press a button and then I put some hot water in it. And that's all I do, but I'm glad that you like it. But I did enjoy that factor of like, like people like their little treats and things, and you get to give people treats, make them happy. I like that. I like doing that. Oh, yeah. Oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah, he's the one regular that I remember. I'm sure there were some others, but don't remember them so well. As George, his name was George. We love our local Georges. That we do. Yeah, it's just kind of nice. It's just kind of nice. Okay, can I do like some hatching here? Can I actually make that work? It's not really hatching, but I think it probably works. That's not really what I wanted. Nope. Maybe I'll do that in a different layer. Put some whiskers on. Yeah, right? Like, if you don't need, like, if you don't need the wages to sustain yourself, then yeah, just do barista. It's like it it's something that's like it's easy to kind of get up in the morning for, you know? Well, not easy, but I don't know. It gives you a reason to get up. Sometimes that's all you need. Oh yeah? Yeah, I liked opening. Have to get up at like 4 in the morning. I did have to do one or two clopens, which were not as fun. That took the fun out of it a little bit. One thing that I did not like about being a barista was constantly smelling like coffee and like inescapably smelling like coffee. Oops. Oh, saving is a good idea. Thank you. Oh, did you like that? it wore thin on me after a while. I mean, I do like the smell of coffee, but for me, just the fact that it was like in my fingernails and like I felt greasy all the time. I didn't really enjoy that. It's like feeling greasy and always smelling like coffee and like never truly feeling like I could stop myself from smelling like coffee. Yeah, it grounds under the nails. And there were times when, and I think I've talked about this before, but that like my nerves and my fingers got all kind of fucked up. Um, and I would, if I touched cold surfaces, it would feel like burning, just the nerves just going off. So I had some days like that where it was just like, if I touched a metal surface, it was like um, little daggers of fire on my fingertips. It's weird. I can only really my theory that I attributed it to was that it was like from holding like the milk tins. Like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. It happened a few times, and then when I didn't work at Starbucks, it didn't happen anymore. So, oh, I can't imagine coming in with like big old nails. That's not gonna end well. But yeah, I'm totally fine. Um. Okay, let's. We need to okay. Pick some colors. Da, 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 da. Oh yeah, exactly. That's not gonna work out well. Oh, did I just color? Oh, I'm a dummy. The dwarf drawing. Oh, with the dress, the Penny's dwarf dwarf boy? Yeah, Penny is always delighted when it shows up as well. So the if you want the lore on it, my understanding is that is from Penny's D&D campaign when the party had to like infiltrate like a ballroom gala thing, and so their dwarf culinarian got dressed up for the occasion. That's a great summary of it. The 2000s tomboy has to dress up like a girly girl. Because that was very much a trope, wasn't it? Large big eye for this child. All right. probably stand to kind of crop this a bit, ending up being a, well, I mean, part of the humor is that it's up high on this thing. Let's try putting some stripes in. Hmm. This isn't really working here. Maybe, oops. Hmm. I need to be going the other way. I'm doing it backwards. Oops. All right, Salem. Well, thank you for hanging out as always. Yeah, you have yourself a good night. Good to see you as always. Make this bigger. Oh, whoops. Okay. I think that's our cat for tonight. Okay. Thank you for joining us on this most auspicious of days. Have a good night. And thank you for being you. We shall see you again. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.